And we asked Jones, what about the pressure of being world champion?
Actually, the pressure's probably more off. You know, my winning streak was going for a while, and I think I had a lot of pressure at Orange County. And after that, everything sort of relaxed, and, you know, I've started to enjoy racing a little bit more. You know, it didn't really worry me until Orange County, and then all of a sudden there was a lot of pressure. So I actually feel a little relieved, and, you know, definitely being world champion is great. You know, whether I get beaten or not down the road, I can always say, you know, I'm two-time world triathlon champion.
Well, the nice thing for me was when I was talking to them before the race, both Jones and Smars and also Mouton said the one thing they love about this sport is racing. And if they could, they'd race in every week if they possibly could. And head-to-heads, that's what it's all about. And we've certainly got one at the moment in both the men's and the women's division. This is the men's division. It's still the two Brits. They're really getting away now. They're about a minute clear from the rest of the pack. And at the moment, it's Lessing and Smith. And these two really are having a battle royal. This course suits Smith. It's a power course, but Lessing is such a classy athlete, he's not going to let him get away because he knows if they go out equal, he's certainly the better runner. Smith hasn't really had a great year to date. He's been struggling, although for him, he says, I'm concentrating on the latter part of the season. I want to retain that world title in New Zealand. And talking to Lessing, he says, currently it's not my intention to go to New Zealand. It's a little late in the year for me. My races, the main races, the money races are in July, August and September, and I'm committed to do those. So it's unlikely that I will try to regain the world title I had a couple of years ago, which will be sad, but that's not the problem at the moment. And in fact, for the first time, the race after this on the Pro Tour is the Professional Championships, which are going to be held in the Mrs. T Chicago Triathlon, the biggest race in the sport, 4,000 athletes, and that is going to be the Professional Championships, which we'll see here on Eurosport at the beginning of September. I think it's the 1st of September. But at the moment, it's the MacPeople Triathlon, and we've got two world champions in the frame. Bear in mind, we've got 5 world champions on course, and we've also got 6 world champion helping us with the reporting today, and that's Mark Allen. Of course, he won the first ever official ITU World Championships in Avignon back in 1989, and of course he's won 5 consecutive World Ironman Championships in Kona, Hawaii. And you can see the men, like the women, are in the middle of this thunderstorm, and once again neither of these two athletes want to give an inch. I doubt if they can even feel the rain, although you saw Spencer Smith take off his glasses. He obviously was having a little difficulty seeing, but at the moment the 3 women really are in a downpour. It's coming down in buckets, cats and dogs, as they come up towards the end of that outward 5-kilometer leg, and then it's the final 5 kilometers back to the finish. And behind them it's still Lessing and Smith. So that's his Lessing just gone through the frame, and right behind, really pushing the big head. You can see Smith, he really is a powerhouse. He's built all power, a little more finesse with Lessing. He's a little smoother, pushes a lower gear. You can see Smith is in his biggest gear. He's trying to get as much power and speed out of that bike as he can. And they've got some expensive bikes here. This one that Lessing is on, the Look Special, that's about 5 grand's worth. And behind, he's got Smith, he's got his own special bike. That's about a couple of grand's worth with all the kit he's got on it. Specially designed, specially built for him. And in fact, Mark Allen has just started riding the bike that Lessing's using at the moment. So that must be good. It must be a good frame if those two are on it. But these they are. They're just coming up at the turn, the 5K point. And even the wet conditions didn't slow them down a great deal as they go through. They're just passing the last woman in the women's division. This is Nina Turunen, another Finnish girl. She's literally being gobbled up by these two as they, well, no comment, is there? Lessing just cruises by, heads up that little incline before he's back onto the highway. Now they're back into the headwind. That last 5 kilometers back to the transition area, and I'm sure they'll be glad to finish this bike ride. It's not too friendly out there. Conditions couldn't be worse. At least the temperature is warm. And you can see a little further down the road, the rain has stopped. They've gone through that storm, and this is Jones. She seems to be pushing on. Another attack, see if she can get away from the other 2 women. Just sort of quick glimpse there of Isabelle Mouton. In fact, that's Karen Smars there, and I think Isabelle Mouton is just on her inside. So they're coming back towards the closing kilometers or so of this 20-kilometer, the second discipline of this sprint MacPeople triathlon. That's the second bridge. Now it's heading back into the city. Then it's another quick change and the final 5-kilometer run. So this is MacPeople Jones. She's only had one loss this year. She lost in the last race to Karen Smars, that man-to-man. Before that, she won at the San Diego International. She won in Memphis in May. She won the Orange County Triathlon. In fact, she didn't win the Orange County Triathlon. Of course, Karen Smars won it and picked up that Mazda Miura for the first place. Jones, in fact, won it the year before when she had that classic with Carol Montgomery. But of course, she did win the race before that, the second race on the Pro Tour, St. Anthony's Triathlon down in Tampa Bay in Florida. So the Pro Tour, 11 races, started in St. Croix, went to St. Anthony's. And now we're on the European leg. We've just had man-to-man. This is the MacPeople Triathlon. Then we go back to Chicago for the Pro Championships, and then there's an international special in Toronto before we come back to Europe for the Bupa Bath International. Looking forward to that one in England, the only race in England this year that's got an international flavour to it. And then, in fact, it's back to America, to Key West, down in Florida again for another sprint triathlon, the Sprintman. And then the final race, although I understand there might be another later on, the final race at the moment is the Hawaii Gatorade Ironman World Championships. But there is a new race in Thailand, in the resort area of Phuket, and they've asked for pro membership, and I think the powers to be have let them in. So we could have the 12th race on the Pro Tour this year. But at the moment, it's still Simon Lessing, the 92 world champion, and right behind the 1993 world champion, both from Great Britain, Spencer Smith. See, it's not very nice. Lessing is fighting into a bit of a breeze. They're still going something approaching 40 kilometers an hour, over 25 miles per hour at the moment. They're keeping the cadence high, pushing the gears over, and this is not too friendly. Smith and Lessing aren't enjoying this too much, but they're professional athletes. They know this is the business, this is what they're here to do, battle it out, and hopefully win a percentage of the $20,000 or just over $21,000 on offer here today at the MacPeople Triathlon. So is this attack working for Lessing? Has he got away from Smith? Certainly Smith looks strong. Another person looking strong at the moment. Another attack goes in by the woman. This time it's MacPeople Jones who's pushing hard. They're now in the last kilometer, coming up towards their the final transition, and it's Jones, Smyers and Isabel Moulton. So here we are, the final transition. Throw the old bike on the rack, get those running shoes on, helmet off, and out onto the final 5-kilometer run. So Jones's bike split, that was 28 minutes 35 seconds. But the only one quicker is at the moment is Smart. She's done 28:32, so she's a mere 3 seconds adrift. Mouton, well, she went 28:35 for that 20-kilometer bike split rather. So Mouton's just dropped a little bit there, and that might be a major factor in the race, because these two girls up front, Smars and Jones, they're not known for easing up at all. I'm sure they're going to push it on, and Mouton's going to have to work very hard indeed to get back on their shoulder. And at the moment, it's Smyers, the woman from Massachusetts, lives in Medford, just outside of Boston. And in fact, indeed, Mouton is catching them. So this is another Mouton. This is Beatrice Mouton down in 4th position. She's now 2 minutes adrift of those leading ladies, so she's got a lot of work to do, but she is well clear at the moment in 4th position. So it's through the timing leg. There's a little kink in the run there, so the timekeepers can get that time. And in fact, the time for Beatrice Mouton, well, that was 30 minutes and 27 seconds for her 20 kilometers as the lead men. It's still Smith and Lessing, and this is Smith. You can just see his World Championships stripes on his shorts and right on the corner of his suit, on his vest rather. He proudly wears those stripes. He's got the Xenia team colors on. It's interesting, we've got 3 Xenia team members here today. That's Lessing and Smith is also one, and we got 2 women here. Both the Mouton twins also race for that Xenia team. So it's Jones after the bike section, 38.08, just a couple of seconds in front of Smyers, Mouton, the 2 Mouton twins, and Guidi Olstrom down in 5th position. But this is Lessing now coming up towards the end of his bike section. And you can see he hasn't got away. Smith is right behind him. So we're going to have another battle here. But I think if I was a betting man, I'd put my money on Lessing. He's the silky smooth runner. The man who seems to be able to turn the gear when he has to on the right run section. So I'm sure he's pretty confident. So a very quick change by the world champion, Smith. He whips through, has a quick drink, then it's the hat on. Keep the rain off, I suppose. And now they're out onto the 5-kilometer run. So this is Smith, did a 26:07 bike split. In fact, that was a little quicker than Lessing, who went 26:10. So Smith's got the fastest bike split at the moment, and he's certainly trying to get away. This is Peter Mosteren down in third position, just over a minute adrift. With him in there is Stefan Holzner, number 4, nearest the camera. This is Tom Soderdahl, going out in, wasn't fifth, he's now in third position. Finished 13th in this race last year. As they head out towards another group behind. So let's have a quick look at the men after that second discipline. Smith, Lessing, Mustonen, Holzner and Soderdahl. So as they head out onto the final 5-kilometer run, Eric Haar in the picture, we'll take our final break. Welcome back to the MacPeople Triathlon, the closing discipline, the final discipline, the 5-kilometer run. In the women's division, we've got a real battle still. They've dropped Isabelle Mouton. It's Smars
Behind
and
me
Jones.
is beautiful Kaisanemi Bay, a calm getaway for the residents of Helsinki. But today, it's the site of the 5-kilometer race course, and it will be anything but calm as the athletes come around here. This will probably be the moment of truth for the athletes. Those who are ahead off the bike will need to maintain their lead, and those who are behind, this is their final chance to make it up.
Well, certainly in the women's division, it was the moment of truth for Isabelle Mouton. She couldn't hang on. She got dropped by Smars and Jones. And in the men's division, I don't know who's taking the right course here. Smith nearest the camera and Lessing are still going head to head. You can see it's a little slippery on the surface. And indeed, I understand that the reason Mouton was dropped is that just before this section, she did slip on those cobblestones and lost just a few meters. But she's up, she's cut and grazed, but she's a gritty girl and she's hanging in there, she's following them. She's in third position. But Smith is struggling a little here as Lessing, I mentioned, he's one of the silky smooth runner in the sport, and he has that ability to turn the gear when he wants to. He can just change gear and go away. It was about this point last year, actually, where the women are, that Lessing got away from Smith. But today, it's the two women who are battling in the same place. And Smars, well, she's been in front all this 5 kilometers at the moment. They're coming up to just over 2 kilometers. And Jones is just there on the shoulder. But in the women's division, the break has been made, and it's a substantial break. He's 10-15 meters out in front now, is the 92 world champion. Where's number 1? He is number 1, the defending champion here. He won the Strand Triathlon here last year, and now the MacPeople Triathlon. He's certainly looking good to win this year. So he's just gone past a kilometer, so that opening kilometer, I'd like to see a split on that. It wasn't too slow. I think Smith was certainly found wanting on those opening stages. Someone who isn't is Lessing. He really is a classical runner. One of the few runners, for me, in the sport of triathlon that looks like a runner. Very stylish. And you can see here, Jones, her ploy is to hang on the shoulder of Smars, and she's finding it fairly tough, I believe. Smars really has pushed on. She's attacked and attacked and attacked. You can see total concentration by the 33-year-old from Massachusetts. And right behind Jones, I don't think she's enjoying this too much. I know both girls, they love this head-to-head. They said this is what the sport's all about. And they really have had some battles this year. At the moment, it's 2-1 to Smart. She's won 2, lost 1. She won in Orange County, and she won the last race on the Pro Tour in Mountain Man. And of course, Jones won that opener at of their battle after down in Tampa Bay after Karen Smars had won the opening race on the Pro Tour down in St. Croix. So the #1 ranked pro triathlete, followed by the #2 ranked pro triathlete. And at the moment, Lessing is going to do his cause a great deal for the pro rankings this year. He's down in about 7th position at the moment, but this could really bring him up the rankings. If he wins here, he'll get another 100 points, which should put him in joint 2nd place with Greg Welsh behind Mike Peake. So he'll only be 47 points or so behind Pig, the #1 ranked professional man at the moment. And with Chicago coming up, who knows? But of course, he's got to win here. Yeah? You just saw a glimpse of Smith in the distance as our two leading women, still pouring down with rain, but they don't care too much at the moment. I should think they're saying this is fantastic, it's lovely and cool. And it's still in blue, Smyers right behind in red, Jones. And certainly at the moment, for me, Smyers looks more comfortable. A little more choppy stride of Jones at the moment, although she's not giving an inch, is she? She's really is hanging that shoulder. I can't see the bungee cord, but I'm sure there's a little bit there at the moment. Just a little climb here now, and they're up on the bridge. They've got just over, what, about 1.5 kilometers to go at the moment. And you can see another attack by Smyers on the incline. And Jones just responds that little bit. She's not going to give in. She's going to hang in there, and she knows she's got the kick finish. She's been in this position. Watch it. These two were in the same position last year at the ITU Worlds in Manchester when they came down the finish chute together, and it was Jones who won there. Then in Orange County, not Orange County rather, it was National City Cleveland when she was in that battle with Montgomery, Carol Montgomery. She did the same. She just out-sprinted her. So I think Jones is confident on the sprint, and Smyers must realize maybe that she's got to go for broke in this last kilometer. 4th position, just being overtaken by the lead man, Beatrice Mouton. Her sister's in 3rd position, but this is Lessing. He's now well clear of Smith. If he looks back through the trees, he'll perhaps see him across the other side. In fact, we can't see him at the moment, so he's just about diagonally opposite going down. You just saw him by the van there in the distance. And Lessing now must be very confident. Doesn't he look good? The 23-year-old Salon de Provence, his club. Races for Nike as well, all in his Nike gear. Of course, they are the sponsors of this Pro Tour. And Lessing, well, he is the European champion. He won his 3rd title this year in Eichstätt. He won the Mountain Man just a couple of weeks ago. He won at Rennes, where he beat Spencer Smith. So he's had a very good year. He's on a bit of a roll at the moment, undefeated since Bercy, the indoor triathlon, if I remember. So we're just coming up to the last kilometer for the women, and it's still Karen Smyers and McKaylee Jones. They've been head-to-head throughout. They swam together, they biked together. They had the company and the swim and the bike by Isabelle Mouton, the French woman, who's now in 3rd position. But on the run, well, you can see Smyers really is pushing on, and Jones is gamely hanging in. She is, you can see her arms now working much harder to stay in contention, and she's not finding this easy. Unlike Smith, who is finding it very difficult to catch this man, Simon Lessing. So it looks as though the 23-year-old is going to keep his winning streak. He's going to win this event, I would think, for the 2nd year. They've just gone past the swim start. Just see the Finlandia Princess in the distance, one of the sponsors to the hotel. We had a nice trip around the bay yesterday. And at the moment, it's #1. Simon Lessing is really showing his class. And he really is invincible at the moment. Goes from here to the Goodwill Games just a couple of days after this event, and I don't think anyone will beat him there. But this is Smith just coming down the line now. He's about, he's nearly a minute behind Lessing, and Smith's not hanging around either. He looks very comfortable, but of course the difference is Lessing here is well clear. He can afford to relax, looks around, really lapping this up, taking it in. I think he's looking at the ships coming into the harbour here, but so he's got just over 1 kilometre to go, and these are the women coming back towards the finish area. We should see Lessing going the other way as they pass. He's on that little leg out around the corner. There he goes. And as the two of them, Smyers still in the front with Jones right on her shoulder, head towards that finish. What a finish we're going to have here. But #1 for the men is #1. It's Simon Lessing. He's now well clear of his fellow team member. They're not team members today, though. They're individuals vying for points and money. Points and money at stake here as well, and it looks like Jones has just got away from Karen Smyers coming down to the finish of the 1994 MacPeople Triathlon. What a finish. That was Jones, and right on her shoulders, Karen Smyers. There we are, wasn't that nice? And in 3rd position, Isabelle Mouton. That's a good performance by Mouton. Jones finished in 55.24. Smyers just a second slower, and Mouton in 3rd position just over a minute later, 56.36. But this is Lessing now. He's in the closing kilometre. You can see Smith just going the other way. They passed, and I'm sure they didn't say too much. Although they're team members, there's no love lost between these two. They love racing, and this guy at the moment, there's Beatrice Mouton going the other way, certainly is the one to beat. No one can really touch him. He's a class of his own. I think he was so disappointed when he had that flat, that puncher at the World Long Course in Nice, but he's come out and he really has showed everyone his talent. He is the #1 triathlete in the world at the moment for me. It'll be good if we can get everyone, the ITU and the Pro Tour, all racing in the same race to see who is the #1. And it might happen later this year, but at the moment, this is the Pro Tour. This is the MacPeople Triathlon winner, Simon Lessing. What a race. What a finish. 50 minutes and 26 seconds. A little quicker than last year's time.
Thanks.
And, well, Smith is going to have to be satisfied today, but I think he'll be pretty pleased the way he's gone. Although he lost out on the run, I think it's been a disappointing year for Smith today, but he's shown some good start today, some good strength, and that'll give him some confidence going into his next race. And I think the next time they race will be in the Chicago. That's Pieter Mustonen in 3rd position, and Stefan Hochner in 4th, and in 5th, that's Mustonen. And Mark Allen, well, he's down with the winner.
Simon Lessing, our champion here today. Simon, it was stroke for stroke on the swim, head-to-head on the bike, but once you got to the run, it was all Simon Lessing.
Yeah, I think Spencer had a good race compared to the few races I've raced him before, so I was a bit worried. I thought I might just be able to get a little bit of a lead on the swim and then hold it out on the bike, but Spencer managed to catch up, and I really thought I was going to have a problem at the beginning of the run. But as we got into it, I got into my rhythm and managed to pull away at about 1,000 meters into the run.
We're with the women's winner of the MacPeople Triathlon, McKeely Jones from Australia. McKeely, I don't think a finish gets any more exciting than that.
You know, I knew I wasn't going to get away. I saw how much of a lead I had out of the water, absolutely none. And I knew on the bike it's a flat, fast course. It's so hard to get away. And, you know, I sort of took it a little easy out of the transition. And I thought, I'm not going to do any more work. I'm just going to sit back. And Karen ran as hard as she could. You know, she was trying to get rid of me the 1st mile, the 2nd mile. And, you know, the 3rd mile, I knew that we didn't have far to go. And she went, and I knew I had a lot more. And I decided to just go for it right near the end.
Well, for me, that was certainly the race of the year, the MacPeople Triathlon. What a great finish, men and women. And those are the results for the women. McKeely Jones and Karen Smyers. Karen Smyers keeps her #1 ranking on the Pro Tour. She's got 460 points. McKeely Jones now well clear in 2nd place, just 100 points adrift. So I think this next race in Chicago, the Professional Championships, could be very interesting for the men and the women. The men, it was Lessing and Smith. That doesn't affect the head of the pro rankings. It's still Mike Pigg, but Simon Lessing now moves into 2nd place, joint 2nd place with Greg Welsh, the Australian. This is Eric Hard just coming through the end, but these are our 2 winners. The MacPeople Triathlon champions for the women, the world champion, McKeely Jones, Karen Smyers in 2nd position. And for the men, Simon Lessing, the 1992 world champion. Well, I hope you enjoyed Eurosport's coverage of the MacPeople's Triathlon, the 6th round of the Pro Tour. This is Ian Sweet, wishing you well, and see you next time.